What's up?
Hey, Michael. Hey, guys. It's good
What's
to see
going on,
everyone.
guys? How's my boy, Joseph?
I'm doing very well, Michael. How are you?
Good. Welcome, everybody. Another great night, Saturday night for Collection Wars and some surprise guests that we're going to have on, Joseph. Yes. And
Yes.
man,
It's going to be a fun night because we get to talk about what we love, right?
That's right.
So tonight's going to be studio model night.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And hey, Joseph, it's awesome to have you as a co-host this evening. What an honor. And
Thank you. So hopefully this is airing properly for everyone. Gabe left me with the technical responsibilities tonight to run the show, and I've never done this before. So if the whole thing collapses, then it's my fault.
You're doing fantastic. Let's start by saying hello to everybody. Jose, what's up? Jose McFly, Sean Stone, Mr. Chris Willis, Justin, Armando, Mr. Santos, Star Wars Addict. What's up, Mr. Jeff? Rolando, Scott in the house. Golly, Tim, got a good show. Janine, hey, Janine. Justin, welcome, Justin. Man, so many things that we're going to talk about tonight. And for all you guys that are going to be missing Mr. Gabe, I bet you can't guess where Gabe is tonight. I mean, just try to guess where Gabe is tonight.
Let me think. Disneyland.
I don't know. That's funny.
I was hoping he was gonna join us or hop on for just a little bit, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. I know he's with his family. I guess he has some family from Mexico that's here, and so he's spending the time with them right now. And I'm glad he's able to do that. So
that's awesome. Hey, I just want to real quick say congratulations on found out that you're going to have a little boy.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
that's really, really cool.
Very, very happy. Yeah.
So a girl and a boy. How many more y'all going to have?
That's it. That's it. I mean, it's kind of a running joke. I told my wife when she got pregnant, she told me that twins run in her family. And I mean, it freaked me out. I immediately took her to the hospital, did the ultrasound to make sure, because I told her, I was like, if it's twins, one's going for adoption. I'm sorry.
Well, think about at least you'll have a place more houses to put all your statues in your collection.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. Everybody's going, "Oh boy!"
I know. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate all the congratulations. Yes. If I'm slow on getting the comments up here, it's because I'm not very good at doing the technical multitasking.
No, you're good. Don't worry about that. So listen, guys, we Joseph and I have been talking on and off today, and we've been kind of going back, how we are and just talking, our collections, and we were talking studio skill stuff, and it was last minute. You had the great privilege to meet Robin when you were at Wonderfest. Tell me a little bit about what you learned with Robin.
Well, so as most of you know, I was able to go to Wonderfest last month, and it was an amazing experience. I had never been to Wonderfest before. I went to Louisville, and really the only people that I knew going there, at least, that I speak to regularly, were Jason Eaton and Mike Salzo. And Mike Salzo, I had the pleasure, I met through you, and Jason I had met many years ago, neither of whom I'd ever met in person. So the whole relationship is all over the phone. Yeah. But when I got there, it was really an amazing experience, because Jason kind of just like, the moment I walked into the hotel, he's like, "Hey, I'm in room 350, come, everyone's here." And I immediately just got welcomed into the family, right? I met everyone there, the Mike and Jason, obviously. And then a lot of other model builders and everyone was just incredible and welcoming.
Yeah.
And I made a ton of new friends, and
Yeah.
Robin Moore is one of those friends, and he's an amazing model builder. He does some beautiful concept stuff. He scratch builds these incredible models. Um, and I fell in love with the one that he did there, which he's going to show us tonight. So I won't
Yeah.
spoil the surprise.
Yeah.
And then I think he's going to show us a few others. And I mean, he's built a lot of stuff, and we're gonna get a chance to see his amazing room. Although he's like, it's still in construction. So just there's like scaffolding behind him.
Yeah, there's a construction, but that's the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's exactly right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and one of the other people that I had the opportunity to meet that Jason and Mike introduced me to was Bill George, who's an ILMer, and I had an amazing opportunity to talk to him, to get to know him, and one of the great things we ended up talking a little bit about doing a trade while I was there, and I actually got this from him. I want to show this to everyone.
Really?
See if it'll pop up. Yeah.
Very cool.
So these are 3 original storyboards from Star Trek VI, The Other Undiscovered Country, which shows one of the first scenes in the film where Praxis, the Klingon moon, explodes. And this is the Excelsior that's being shown in the beginning of the film. And this ship was actually designed by Bill.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it's just to be able to have this. And I mean, I wish I could, I might be able to enlarge it here.
Yeah, we can see it pretty good.
Let me see. I don't think I can.
Okay, yeah, don't worry about it. It looks, you can see it.
But you can see, I mean, the detail, and this is all ink, and it's, black and grays and blues. And it's so beautiful.
So you're going to put that in a kind of like a matte frame?
Yeah. I'm gonna probably separate these. These are all just stuck to a sheet of paper. So I'm just gonna separate them and then probably individually have a mat around each one. So I'm really, really thrilled about being able to have something like this. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And before we do bring Robin on, everybody, you guys know that we all inspire each other. That's what's so awesome about Collection Wars. And Gabe and I have been doing it forever. And if we can do anything to inspire somebody just on an idea or anything like that. And one thing that's just so incredibly awesome is like what you guys are fixing to see with Robin. I had no idea. And if you guys were even a little bit intrigued with my gallery, you guys are really going to get a kick out of the details that have actually gone into his room. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I had to put that up there. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, so without further ado, everybody, Joseph.
I think he's still setting up.
Is he still manhandling?
Yeah, he's still doing that. So that slave one that sorry.
That's okay.
He said it's 35 pounds, so he's got to lug it in. Okay, that looks like he's back. So why don't we bring him on?
Yeah.
Robin,
hey guys,
welcome. It's good to have you on.
Oh, it's good to be on. I kind of feel like I should have like a smoking jacket on and pipe and like just sitting by a fireplace. I should have come on like, oh, hello.
Hello. Robin, welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you, pal.
Oh, great to meet you.
Man, I really wish I could have had the opportunity to go to Wonderfest. This was a lot going on with Celebration, and then a week later, it was
I know. In fact, that's Joe was actually telling me that he said, man, they did like Celebration, and then I think your wife had a convention beforehand.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, I'd tap out there at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of days of Wonderfest and I was wiped. So
it was exhausting. I went to Celebration, then came to Wonderfest, then came home and went to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But so Robin, obviously we met at Wonderfest and it was an amazing experience. And I feel very grateful that I got to meet you and that we become friends. But obviously the Collection Wars viewers don't know who you are. So if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
I do commercial real estate by trade. And, before that I was, in aviation, aerial mapping. So I was a pilot, aerial photographer in a band, and boy meets girl, boy ends up out in Texas. And then Great Recession hits, and boy doesn't have any money anymore. So I decided foolishly, hey, let me get back into making models. That'll be a cheap hobby, to pass my time. And it started off with a couple model kits, and we had like this little loft apartment that overlooked downtown Houston. And I just sit up on one little edge of the kitchen counter and stand there and do models, and then moved out to the burbs, and I had a garage to do it in. And then I started picking up resin kits, and then just jumped into studio scale after that. And
that's awesome. How long has that been, Robin, that you've been doing the studio scale models?
I want to say the first one I did was probably that X-Wing behind me. And so that was like 13.
Wow. Yeah. You got into it before me even. It's crazy because when I first met Joseph, he said that he had seen some of my collection on Modeler Magic with Kurt Kuhn. And, a lot of people were introduced. That, I think, was the site for people that want to get involved into studio models. And still today, as you well know, Robin, it's not an easy thing to get into. Obviously, with all the 3D printing and all the stuff that's going on now, it's a little bit more accessible than it was before. But finding people that can create these kits, and then who's going to be able to build the kits and whatnot, it's crazy.
Yep, that's it. And then it's funny you mentioned Modeler Magic, because I think it was maybe like 2009, 2010. And I was looking at Modeler Magic, and then RPF and Resin Illuminati. All three of those things were kind of sparking that interest. And, to get back into this again. And I'm looking at other people's works. And I think I did like a fine mold Slave 1. And I sent it to Kurt Kuhn. And next thing you know, Kurt Kuhn's got it like up on the thing.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I'm like, wow, my stuff's on a website. This is so cool. And I noticed how helpful a lot of people would be. Mm-hmm. But what's funny about just the whole hobby in general is, I did it in a void, an absolute void for a decade. And all these guys that, you guys have had on your show and stuff like that, I've reached out to them, but they've just kind of been like these demigods that have, sat out there because, when I first came on, they were already just busting out awesome subjects.
Yeah.
And so when I met them in person, the first time I went to a Wonderfest in 2019, it was kind of like, oh, wow, these are real people. Yeah. Oh, they're cool. Yeah. They're fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
Damn, I was there in 19. I wish I would have met you. Might have. We might have even gone to dinner if you were with Jason and them, and I didn't even realize it, but
I might have. I actually made my introduction by Jason, and a bunch of guys were over at the table. And I noticed them over there, and I was like, oh, I know those guys. And well, I don't know them, but I know of them. We're Facebook friends, so I sent a round of drinks over, and they're like, hey, come on over. And, we just sat down and hit it off,
That's awesome.
It's funny that you mentioned that you did this in isolation, because, the internet's really made the world a lot smaller, right? And especially in communities like this. I got back into model building. The first thing I did was start to hit the YouTube channels and see people were building, and I would start to follow their builds and learn techniques and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then I'd go to Modeler Magic, and that's how I met Michael. Well, I saw his room on there when he was building it. And then I met him through Gabe, who also had, a Star Wars replicas channel. I used to watch him on YouTube, and then I ran into him at San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm like, hey, you're Star Wars replica guy, because I didn't even know his name.
Right.
And so it's amazing the connections that this, the bridges that the internet has built between all of us.
It really has. And then when you connect those dots in person, it's really rewarding.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, the time at Wonderfest was amazing, just to be able to just hang out in the hotel room with everyone and talk and share
in a room full of COVID.
No, that was the other part. That was the other party that I went to with Chris.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's where I caught that.
Yeah, Robin, I was real excited when just today we were talking about that badass piece sitting next to you right there, and he was telling me that you lived in Texas, and I'm like, what? And so when he told me, I'm like, because it's like we were just now mentioning, it's and there's nobody that lives down the road that's into models or anything, but we're also spread out around the U.S. and other countries even, but it's really good to have somebody like you that's really close. I'm excited about that too. So.
Yeah, me too. And it's funny too, because somebody, every now and then somebody connects the dots and they're like, oh, I know you build models, right? Yeah. You need to meet so-and-so. He builds models, and I'm like, oh, when we start talking, it's like, what do you do? He's like, oh, World War II replicas and race cars. What do you do? Star Wars. Oh, and it boom, the wall goes up,
Right.
And then even when you get into somebody, well, maybe they like Star Wars, but it's just a room full of toys, and they're just kind of like, well, I don't know, this doesn't look like my Kenner model, and so then you've got like this thin line of a couple hundred people that can dive in and out of all that and kind of understand.
So before we get into this piece next to you, this thing is incredible. I know somebody has their eye on it big time. I'm not going to name names, Joseph, but so I want to know like this room, the inspiration of this room, because I know it's under construction, and with your permission, if you wouldn't mind just kind of dabbling on that camera around and just showing people just
sure.
And real quick, everybody, hey, let's put him on big screen.
That's what I'm going to do here. Hold on one second.
Hey guys, if y'all are listening, that's great. But if you can look on the screen, I want y'all to see inspiration that went into this room. The paneling is just absolutely.
That's amazing.
So I had another room at our old house, which was actually a 5th bedroom. And, we're a family of 3. So it's like, who needs a 5th bedroom? I have to work in reverse here. This is weird.
No, you're doing fantastic. Nobody cares, bro.
This is the back wall is kind of, I'm going to call that whatever, galactic trophy room. Cause I've got the armor helmet back there. I did a Loki scepter. I think I got Rey's staff, a Terminator skull.
Now, Robin, are all of the things in the room your own work, or are any of those acquired from others?
There's a Infinity Gauntlet there on top of one of those Star Wars crates next to Han Solo, and that was just like whatever Hasbro that somebody got me.
Okay.
And but yeah, let's see, the Vader, I just acquired that in pieces.
So is this a theater room?
Yeah, it's also a theater room.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Look at this. Let's go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's got a 12-foot drop-down screen at the front, and then behind the screen, I've got like 3.5 feet of display area.
Yeah,
but I've got it mostly cleaned out. I got a full-size sand trooper in there, and like a couple smaller stuff.
Wow!
But I've tried to group everything and theme everything. And
is that a Mandalorian back there in the corner?
Oh yeah. That's let's see, I don't know if you can see him, but yeah, there's my Mando. And so the suit I bought and the armor I printed and then finished with the Illumiluster, just like they use on the show.
Wow. What's next to the Y-wing right there to the right? What is that?
A bunch of blasters on the wall.
Oh, okay, there you are. Okay, I see them now. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
Which one? What's the top one? I recognize the others. But...
Oh, that's Jin from
Oh, that's Jin
Rogue One.
Urso's. Okay. I couldn't tell.
Yep.
Jeez,
so
and that
I love
Y-wing,
the
the
light
Y-wing
panels.
helmet that you have up there, is that the did you make that?
that's a golden armor, actually.
Oh,
That's
it's a
a
golden armor that
styrene
you
pole.
painted up.
So
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew what you were thinking. Is that an RS Prop Masters?
Yeah.
I do love those.
Yeah.
And that's a Hasbro.
Okay.
That's a that probably predates our friend Chris Reef.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, I'll tell you what though, for people that can't afford a $500 or $1,000 helmet, those Hasbros, you can get them and make them your own, and
Oh yeah,
and they're badass. I have I have a couple of them myself.
Yeah.
I bought them too because I'm like, you know what? The difference is so minute.
Yeah.
And the quality is really good. And, you know, it's $100 and hey, let's have some fun.
Well, honestly, all you really have to do is just, add a little weathering to it and it'll make it look like $1 million.
Man, the panels look fantastic, dude.
Yeah.
Is
so
that a pod racer?
No, that is the Marshall from
the Cobb Vanth.
Badass.
Okay. That's awesome.
And of course it takes a beating, right? Because 1 9-year-old kid can
Hey, can you shine to the ceiling?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Look at the details, guys. Look at this. I mean, that is major freaking detail, bro.
That is beautiful, Robin.
So you want to know the story how I got there to that? Because it's actually
absolutely.
quite funny.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
that's freaking badass.
I had another man cave actually I've had two. I had one at the first house, and it was I just built out, deep cabinets and went with that. And, but they were just stained wood, and I had, some of my pieces in there. And, the second house, I busted out that 5th bedroom, closed off the window. And I want to say the room was like, I removed the closet. So it was like 12 by 18 or something. And I did it up like a bunker, very genre neutral, and painted the walls to look like concrete, kind of like I did on the back wall. And, made these display areas that came out, but it was a very tight room. And when we built this house, I just said, you know what? I'm building this big room above the garage.
Badass.
So I had them put in, these indentures on the sides and at the front and the back, where I could do kind of these motifs, and then a long hallway where I could do a motif on either side and everything. And the rest is basically just, get out the saw and do some MDF paneling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get creative with it. And, that part's been a lot of fun. And it's actually, I say it's under construction. It's been finished before, but then I get an idea and I'm like, oh, forget that. I'm going to tear that down and I want to go with something else,
Man, when this show is over, I'm going to go back and hit pause and look at your ceiling. I freaking, it's when
I got some high res photos I can send you.
Oh man, that would be great. So when we did the gallery, I wanted to do that room that Vader sits in and looks out the window with those ground, where those people are sunk in down there, and the bridge, like the bridge or whatever. But just building all those paneling and the way the windows were, it wasn't practical, so, but I definitely want to do something very creative and different in the studio room, because that's going to be where my real passion is, so.
Well, I'll tell you, we can admire all the studio scale work all day long, but I looked at that same exact idea. And when you come to those windows that, kind of, I guess they juxtapose each other, right?
Yep.
And if you look at the detail in there, if you were just to cut out that shape, it would look cheap and, flimsy. Okay. And really, there's like 3 layers of depth. And it's like they took this quarter round and just bent it all the way around and then completely smoothed it out. And I was just thinking, there's no way. And like, I can I've got some carpentry skills. That's way past it, you know.
So that's what's crazy is that all the stuff that was done in the mid 70s and the stuff that they just whipped together, and even today, it's very difficult to do a lot of the, like all the paneling, just the paneling that everybody did, like that beautiful paneling of the lights that you have behind you. And a lot of people have been inspired to do. Those aren't easy to do by themselves. And just to think, way back when they were way ahead of the
So
technology.
those I subbed out.
Yeah, I did on mine too. I had somebody cut mine too.
Yep.
Well, Michael,
It's so easy. It wasn't too much more than just what the MDF would be.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
What's up, Joseph?
Well, no, I was going to say that, the thing is that we talk about what they did back then, but you got to realize that the people then were much more skilled, right? Because they didn't have the CNC machines and all of these things available to them.
Right.
So they could do things by hand that, that people have, and a lot of people have lost those skills.
Yeah.
I was watching a documentary on the F1 Rocketdyne engines on the Apollo, and how those are still the most powerful rocket engines that were ever made. And they say, well, why can't we just make those again? And the reality is that we can't, because they weren't machine made. They were all hand machined, and they were done by these engineers, and those people are gone. And you can't just follow the instructions and do it, because it was all done by hand.
Yeah.
And
And
all
there
the
was
parts
so
were
much
hand
talent.
painted.
So much talent in it.
Yeah, and people just don't do that anymore. Not with 3D printing metals and CNC machines and all the technology we have available now.
Yeah, that's crazy cool. So listen, if you don't mind, Robin,
Sure.
I know a gang of you guys got in on these models when it came to the Ralph McQuarrie concept stuff. Can you kind of tell us how you guys came up with the inspiration to do the McQuarrie stuff, and then let us know, how did you guys say, look, I'm going to build the Slave One, or I'm going to build the Snow Speeder? How did all that come about? Because I've just seen recently, you guys, there's a small group of the elite dudes that have hand built these things from nothing. And I've never seen this one till Wonderfest, and I was shitting myself because it's so freaking. But anyways, sorry. Tell us a little bit about the backstory on these McQuarries.
Well, so Jason Eaton, I think Jason Eaton or Bill George, maybe both of them together in collaboration. I know that in 2019, they were the ones that wanted to do Joe Johnston stuff, which was what led me to do the concept shuttle and show up at Wonderfest with that. And I just happened to pop up online and say, yeah, I'm going to do this concept shuttle. And when it came to Empire Strikes Back, I think it was a little bit less rigid. And I know this is a subject that I have been wrestling with since 2015. And I've thought, I really want to do this thing because it's just so chunky and awkward, and there's so much room open for interpretation.
Yeah, because it's a drawing. You're taking a drawing and creating a practical.
That's it. And there's so much, as much as you see in that one painting, there is so much unsaid.
Yeah.
And so, that's when I get, oh, wow, this is going to be fun. I get to, just get creative and not really follow a true roadmap. But with this one, I looked at hemispheres, where can I buy a hemisphere and do this? And I got a hemisphere, and I was like, the thing's not a hemisphere. I tried drawing out the lines on it. It's not a hemisphere. It's like 2/3 of a hemisphere. And I thought, well, how am I gonna whittle that down? Because I think the hemisphere I had was like 18 inches. And I thought, maybe I 3D print it, because I've been 3D printing in PLA for a while. And I think I took a run at it and trying to build it in Windows 3D Maker because I had very little skills as far as that goes. And then finally I just decided, you know what? I told the guys, I'm going to do this. I really want to tackle this subject. So I'm just going to jump on this one. And I bought Fusion 360 and just cussed at my computer for like 2 months straight. And because I kept trying to follow the tutorials. Here's how to make a keychain. Here's how to make a box. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just need to do this different. And maybe I just need to start making a slave one. And every time I have a question, I'll Google it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And I started building based on that from scratch. And I had it in my head, like, okay, I know how big my printer is. So this thing's not coming out in one part. This thing's coming out in, 6 or 7 parts. Now, how do I get them to hold together? And so I designed it up, and this was definitely the first thing I've ever designed in 3D that I put any level of detail on in the model. And so I started printing parts, and I designed it so that it all fits around an aluminum block, because you got to have that studio scale element to it, And the aluminum block was like, I don't know, 2 inches by 3 inches by like 10 inches. It's awesome. And so if I could show you here, this section here,
look.
and this center section here, clamshell over the aluminum block.
That thing's badass, dude.
Thank you. I'm still trying to get the canopy done for it. I think I've got the right size bucks printed out, and I'm getting ready to throw them on the vacuum former if I have the chance this weekend.
Very cool. Yeah. My good friend Izzy, he's been helping me out with doing some clear canopy stuff, and it's a process to do that. So
it certainly is.
Yeah.
Do you have it plugged in, Robin?
What's that?
Do you have it plugged in?
You know what? I do not.
Okay. The lights on the back are really beautiful. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of it from Wonderfest.
What's so cool is when you get, excuse me, Joseph, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
When you, Robin, like Jason, I was lucky enough to get his Ralph McCurry sandcrawler in my collection.
Oh, yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah, and when you guys take something from a drawing and make it practical, it's so cool because you're actually getting in the mind of the artist and taking over and making it real, and it's something from nothing, and it's original. It's yours. It's a lot of golly, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a lot of pressure when you're doing something like that. There's
pressure, and then there's kind of this immense freedom that also comes with it.
I understand.
And I'll tell you, just in working on the bottom half, because there was nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing in that painting that tells you how many engines the thing has or anything else like that. So I'm like, okay, I get to have fun. And originally it was going to have 4 engines, and it just looked weird.
Yeah.
And so I put in more of like the center oblong engines and just put one here, and then put some big thrusters here, and the rest of it, Graham Stewart has been doing, studio scale parts, that he's modeled them up for different models, like, the Sandcrawler, the 5-foot Falcon.
Yeah.
I bought the Sandcrawler, and I just kind of manipulated some of those parts, specifically the Harrier.
Yeah.
And started working some Harrier pipes in here and some Saturn V stuff, and then just started overlaying, typical of that era of ILM stuff, like flak cannons and railguns.
Would that be a 1/24 scale, Robin?
No.
Scale it?
No, because I actually did a let's see if I can angle to it. It's about 148 actually.
God, look at Boba in there. You got the white Boba Fett.
Yeah, I just took I found a pilot online.
Yeah.
And then took the concept helmet file.
Oh, we lost him.
Okay, we can bring him back on.
Okay, hold on one second here. Well, he has to. I don't have him in the backstage anymore, so
yeah, he'll pop back on.
Pop back on. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Hey! Welcome, Robin. Welcome on a great Saturday night to Collection Wars.
So Robin, I was gonna tell you, I was able to get the pictures up. So the ones that I took from Wonderfest.
Oh, okay.
So let me bring those up here. Share. Okay, hold on.
It's really cool stuff, Robin. I'm real excited about tonight's show.
Thanks.
There we go.
It was a long labor of love, and this thing is just, it's always been like a grail piece that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Can everyone can see that? I'm assuming
it's fantastic.
Oh, wow, it's a good photo.
Yeah, I love the light. You can't get an idea of the color till right now. You can really see it.
Well, that's another thing you wrestle with too, right? Because in these paintings, it's just a painting.
Yeah.
And, there's some subtle shading, but it looks nothing like a studio model. And so then I'm sitting there wrestling with it. I'm like, okay, how ILM do I go with this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of shot down the middle between an ILM, what I would think an ILM paint job would be on this, and still kind of pay tribute to Ralph McQuarrie's good work on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's badass looking. It's cool how how you have like that shield. Yeah, that, what would you call that? Like deflector shield thing on the top right there, on the very top.
Oh, the dish.
Yeah, the dish.
Yeah, just like the production.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's just I basically just, that was one I designed, but I just designed it in reverse. I thought, well, gosh, wouldn't it be cool if there was like this other bubble? Because it kind of follows the shape of all the greeblies, that run from the top of the cockpit and then kind of wrap around. And I thought, I guess they got to go somewhere, so.
For sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the concept shuttle from Return of the Jedi?
Absolutely.
Let me see here. Oh, good. I put on clothes because I was seriously going to.
Oh, that's hilarious. Excuse me, Robin. Your ass is hanging out, buddy.
Let me see.
Thanks for taking the time to show us these things, man.
Oh, man. Thanks for having me on. It was definitely a surprise. At first I was thinking, man, Joe, if you're calling me, you must really be scraping the bottle.
No.
Oh, no.
Probably
You were
called
the
my
last one
cousin
on the
Freddie,
list.
who's never seen a movie and doesn't know what a model is.
Oh, that's funny.
Here we go.
No, in fact,
this one's bigger. This one's 33 or 34 inch wingspan.
I'm actually really hoping, Robin, that we can do a show one night where we could get the whole crew from Wonderfest back on.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh, that would be
I love the paint up on that. You know what's crazy? I'm sorry, Joseph. I'm just kind of giddy right now. Like, it's like so many of these things, Robin, like that being the shuttle. I mean, it's got, look at that face on it. It's like,
it's got a face.
Yeah, it's got like a. But I love the paint scheme underneath the wings. It's just, that's so Empire.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I wanted to do something, because in Joe Johnston's drawing, it's just kind of a plain wing.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, how do I pay some homage to it? And this one's probably like 148 too. And so I just decided to come up with what I call full shade.
Yeah.
And I just drew something in Photoshop and then ran it through a Cricut.
Yeah.
And then scaled it down. So it kind of, just has a bit of a cool shade type look to it.
I was wondering about that. It looks legit. It looks really, really good. And does this one light up as well or no?
It does. It does. It's in fact, I ran this one on batteries. And so like every 5 hours, I would like go running down and jump behind the stuff and swap out more batteries. Right. Because I didn't know if we'd have access to power at Wonderfest. Yeah. I'd never been.
Let me tell you, Robin, if there's a way, I talked to Salzo about this because respectfully, I hate one thing about, I don't know if you're familiar with Mark Elkins. Mark Elkins does that little female where you can just simply plug it in and it's real clean. Nothing pops out and comes out. But I know a lot of these guys like Eaton and Salzo, they do things that are a lot of traditional, the way the ILMers did it.
Mm-hmm.
But for more of a studio clean display look, I wish there was a way that you could have like a little battery pack with a little deal that you could just stick into each model if you want to see it lit up. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if it's out there or not.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if it's possible to put that together. Maybe we can get Joseph to start thinking
Well,
about that.
You would think so, right? Lithium ion.
Yeah.
Well, there are plenty of options. I mean, there are plenty of power options that are available. Hell, there was even a company that was doing a Kickstarter not long ago where they were making battery cells that you could put into a model or a figure or something, where it would power up the LEDs, but the battery itself doesn't produce any power. It powers via magnetic induction. So then if you put that battery or the model or whatever in a magnetic field, it then powers up and all the LEDs come on. So it's totally wireless. And well, they have that for the lights, for the LEDs that people put in like Gundam, models and stuff like that, where it's just an LED and then it's got a little copper coil wired to it. And then you can just place that inside the model. And then when you place the model in a magnetic field, it induces a current in the copper coil and the LED lights up. And I first saw these in Japan, and they have these fantastic displays where they actually have the magnetic field under a fish tank. And they just take these LEDs by the handful and they just drop it in the water, and you see them all light up as they fall into the water because they fall into the magnetic field.
That's crazy.
So
stuff.
Yeah, it's an amazing technology.
That's
and I think
awesome.
There's a lot there. And there's so much you can do power wise, you can plug in battery. They make battery packs that you can plug in that just have a DC connector on them. So you can put in the batteries in the battery pack, and whatever the voltage is going to be, you just plug it in. I actually have a couple of those.
That's really cool.
I have
Joseph would know.
Yeah, well, I have the Boba Fett jetpack that the Empire Strikes Back one. It has a little beacon light in it, right? Yep. And I'm hanging it on the wall. I didn't want to plug it in, so I got a little battery pack and wired it. And then the problem is turning on and off the battery pack. So then I connected a magnetic switch to it. So now I can just have it up on the wall and then just have a little magnet on a stick, and I wave the magnet by the pack and it turns on.
Yeah, Benjamin says they started in Japan but always sold out here in the U.S. since it was featured on Tested.
Yeah, well, you can get them. They have them on Amazon, on Adafruit.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. The Kickstarter, though, for the little battery cells that do the same thing, that never got off the ground. It never got funded, which is such a shame.
Robin, let me ask you, so the Joe Johnston piece that you did here, has he had a chance? Do you know if he's seen this yet, or have you tried to get pictures to him? Or?
I think Bill might have sent him some pictures.
That's cool.
And I don't know if that got no. What I do know is that John Goodson gave a very big thumbs up to the Slave One.
Badass.
But I don't know if Joe, I mean, even if you get a interesting, that's probably like, gold coming from Joe.
That's
Johnson,
all you need. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah,
but that would definitely make my day for sure.
So is the Slave One, is that who did the concept drawing, the gentleman you just mentioned?
No, actually, the concept drawing for Slave. Oh yeah, Joe Johnston did the concept drawing for
this one,
the shuttle,
right?
And then the Slave One concept drawing was a Ralph McQuarrie paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the other gentleman that you just mentioned?
Oh, John Goodson.
Yeah, I'm not.
I've never met him. He built the studio scale Razor Crest for the Mandalorian, and he built Gideon's ship,
the big Imperial ship.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I remember seeing him now.
I met him at Celebration because John Eblin knows him.
Oh, okay.
And so he was there with all of them. They give a talk together, I guess. So
that's cool.
Yeah, they were all those guys were there at Celebration. John Goodson, Fawn Davis, who was also at San Diego Comic-Con. I ran into him there.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, get out.
Yeah. It was great to see him there. So he and John, I guess, are also pretty good friends.
So what's next in your I know these things take a little bit to build. How long did Slave One take you?
Slave One, I finally started cranking on it in January.
Yeah.
And I was gluing stuff on before sticking it in a 44-inch hard case.
Yeah.
And then still, I didn't get the canopy pulls done. I did some clear 3D prints and tried to polish them, and it just looked horrible.
Yeah.
And
so what do you think about 3D printing, Robin?
You know what? I still like scratch building some stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, the shuttle, just the fuselage and the outer part of the cockpit were 3D printed, and they're actually in PLA and just sanded down. Everything else, I cut the wings on a Cricut and just started adding a lot of details by hand. So 3D printing's an amazing tool. It's a wonderful tool. And when you get to a shape like this, this clamshell around a plastruck ball, or, the shape around, for this concept Slave One, it's invaluable.
Robin, there was a question.
Oh, yeah.
If you had any original ships that you've built, or do you have any concepts that you have kind of rolling around in your head to make yourself, just not based on any of the original artists' work?
I did have a couple kit bashes that I did back in the day, and then I ended up bashing them into something else for spare parts, and then one fell and just completely broke. They were all mostly variants on the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking around before I say absolutely no. Hang on a second.
Man, Joseph, what a treat, man.
Yeah, well, like I told you, Wonderfest was like heaven.
Yeah,
heaven on earth, because I got to meet Robin and 20 other guys just like Robin, who are just incredibly creative, talented. I mean, it was
besides.
Okay, so the answer is no. But
Okay,
if you remember a game from like the 90s called X-Wing Alliance, this was kind of like the primary ship in it.
Very cool.
Very cool.
And it was called, I think they called it the Otana.
That's really nice.
And so this was the first thing I built from scratch. And oddly, all I did was just make the top part of the fuselage, and then, not knowing anything about casting, went through about $200 in rubber and was able to get one good pull off of it to make the bottom.
Wow.
And it's heavy too. The thing weighs about 10 pounds because, I over-engineered and had no clue what I was doing at the time.
That's cool, though.
That is really cool.
So how do you display that?
I've got a mount, a 1/4 inch mount here in the belly, and then mount it on a little camera mount or a pan of ice on the wall.
Yeah,
I just need to find some good grouping for it and everything else.
Yeah, that's really cool. So McQuarrie is a big inspiration to you, huh?
Definitely. I mean, I want to say when I was like 6 years old, my parents gave me The Art of Star Wars and The Art of Empire Strikes Back. And the second I started twirling through this, I'm like, wow, I want to see this on the screen. And I just remember, it was like my comfort food as a kid. I would go to that book and just look at all these, neat spaceships that never made it. And, when people started building them, I thought, wow, that's cool. because I can put myself in that mind frame and just say, hey, let's just go ahead and pretend that this is the one, George Lucas walked in and said, yeah, that's what I want.
I'll take that.
Some
of these newer models that you guys are putting together, like this shuttle, like that Slave One. I mean, that Slave One right there is absolutely a model that I could see in Mandalorian. You know what I mean? I think it's the in my humble opinion, respectfully, the McQuarrie Sandcrawler that I have. I've got the also the scratch built version that Eaton did of the Colin Cantwell Sandcrawler.
Oh yeah.
But the McQuarrie Sandcrawler, I think, is the best looking Sandcrawler out there. I think it looks way better than the one that was in the actual film. And that's respectfully, I'm saying that, but it just looks freaking cool with the big claw on the side. And you know what I mean?
It does. And Jason has this innate ability to dial into the coolest parts of a drawing, of a concept drawing, and then make it pop into real life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you do the same thing. You did the same thing.
Yeah.
He was doing it way before I was. I kind of, oh
yeah, that's a respect. Everyone's got that respect. Yeah.
Oh, I should show the picture from let me see if I can find it from Wonderfest. The group
not the
photo
news,
that we
right?
took. What was that?
Not the news, right?
No.
Wonderfest gets crazy.
Hey, Robin, don't say anything because FF might be watching the show right now. Joseph's wife. She doesn't need to know the truth of what really happened over there.
Oh no, definitely not. No, here, let me
see what I mean.
let me pull this up. You're gonna get a kick out of this here.
For sure.
Share screen.
Oh, that's so cool.
So this was, I think, was it Brian that had those t-shirts made up?
Brian had those t-shirts made up.
Yeah. And they all say the Eaton collection on it. So we were all wearing them and we decided to do a group photo. And then the suggestion was made, let's do it behind the table like Last Supper and let's pose. So it looks like the Da Vinci painting. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So you can see, let's see here. I can enlarge it.
I never saw that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So there's Mike Salzo there and me and
that is what makes the photo, by the way.
Yeah. The Fonz
coming in.
Yeah. And there's John Sabian, of course. There's Chris, and that's Quincy.
Bill
George and his husband Matt.
Yeah.
Matt was actually, he gets full on credit for coming up with that idea because Jason was standing over there. I don't know what they're doing, and I just see Matt over there standing behind the table, and he's like this, and this guy's like this, and I'm like, he's doing Last Supper. Let's go.
Yeah. And then I especially love the dear leader.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was great. It was a great picture. And so when I was at San Diego Comic-Con, there was a statue there of Fonzie from Happy Days, and he was doing that. So I took a picture and I said, "Hey, they made a statue of Mike Salzo."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
I wish we could get Mike on. Do you know Mike now, Robin?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Such a joy of a guy to talk to, and
yeah,
I got the cloud car from him.
Yeah,
and he said, "Oh, if you had any problems, just give me a buzz." And I mean, I gave him a buzz, and he's like, "Okay, here's what you do. You just do this." And some of the tricks Mike knows,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, God, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Simple. Yeah. And he's just all modest about it. And,
Yeah, he doesn't have a bad, he has nothing ever bad to say about anyone. He's the most positive guy, he's just, I love that guy to death. I'm so grateful that he takes on my builds and And I was reluctant, but I got Joseph involved with Mike, and because I can't be selfish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's
You got to
self-
share your salzos.
I know.
Yeah. So, by the way, I wanted to show another piece here, Robin, while I have you on here. And there is a member of Collection Wars group, James Strain, who is making his own Naboo Starfighter. And I believe he's doing it in 1/6 scale, although with the pictures, it almost looks like it's bigger than that. So he had sent some of the pictures. Gabe sent these to me. So let me pull them up, and then I can show everyone. You guys can. So just because we were talking about the technology that's now available, right? To 3D print and prototype. And here, let me see if I can get these up here.
Yeah, Benjamin, what you just said, I mean, besides seeing everybody at Celebration, I would hands down rather go to Wonderfest.
So let's share this here.
Yeah, that's not something I'm going to miss.
Yeah.
Much. Wow.
Yeah. So let's go through these pictures here. So yeah, this is a huge model. Now, some of this looks obviously hand done rather than 3D printed. I don't know if there's
awesome.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, the bigger the model, the more attention to detail. It's a lot harder to do 6 scale, as a lot of people might imagine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the upscaling of detail is amazing.
Yeah. Some of these are smaller pictures, so I have to.
Hey, Benjamin, I would love that, buddy. Yeah, for sure. We actually did a video on my Starkiller 77, and we have a space background behind it, and it's legit. It looks really, really cool. Yeah, that's a cool
Look at
shot.
that.
Yeah.
I'm doing one, but in like 1/18th right now.
How big is that? I'm trying to think. 1/18th.
It would be what about
I don't know. It hasn't all come off the printer yet, but I think it's going to be probably a wingspan of about that.
Let me show you something.
It's going to have a long tail.
There's the tail.
Hey, you got an ion cannon too. Oh yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me get you on there, Michael.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's enlarge this here. There we go. Yeah.
I've got to redo this. I put super glue in here, which I shouldn't have done. And Joseph had told me I wasn't real familiar, but it smoked the glass. So I've got to.
It crazes the clear.
Yeah, so I've got a brand new canopy to put on it, because when I got the model, it was that way, but I didn't realize that it would do that. But it's a nice looking model. I mean, he did a good job on it.
And Robin, that's painted with Alumoluster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm telling you, that stuff is
magic. It's magic.
Yeah. When I got this, Robin, this hotel was like a C. I had to heat it with a blow dryer and straighten it up, and it did straighten. But man, it was, when I first got it, it was not good.
I wonder what caused it. Just heat?
The heat, yeah.
Just the good old Texas sun. And,
man, dude, we need rain so freaking bad. It's just like, golly, I don't think we're ever going to get it.
We're finding a little bit. We got a little bit, and thank God, because I just put down like 7 or 8 pallets of sod.
Oh
and
yeah,
it was starting to die.
We haven't had rain here. It rained a little bit today, but the dirt didn't even get wet. You know what I mean? It was just a teaser. But we haven't had rain here, and probably a real rain probably in over 100 days. It's crazy, and we're 2.5 hours from you. You know, and hey, like the Guadalupe River, it's completely dry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I go over the Guadalupe River in our area. People, that's how they make their money in the summertime, is they're renting out the tubes and all that stuff.
Sure.
And there's not even, I mean, it's completely dry.
Man.
Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible.
Robin, that Star Destroyer behind Michael is the 8-foot that Salzo finished for him.
So this was the one when the guys took the trip up to Connecticut, and they're all taking pictures inside it and stuff like. I mean, gorgeous. Well, I was like so jealous, and then of course next thing you know, he's got it loaded in a
rider truck.
In a rider truck, and just on its way.
Yeah, I'll show you the back. This one.
You can't tell the scale until he stands next to it. It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of busy. But yeah.
It's incredible. I was watching the Light and Magic documentary last night, and they were talking about when they filmed, the Star Destroyer, right? And here, sorry, Michael, let me enlarge.
No, you're good. You're good.
So you can.
No, he's not good. He needs to, more bigger. Thank you.
So they were talking about when they filmed that and how they had the camera so close to it that they scraped the model in a couple of spots.
Oh, I remember hearing that. I remember
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'll show you what the detail that Mike did. I don't have it lit right now, but you can see right here.
Oh, the bay, the docking bay.
Yeah. And this all lights up too. It's just not lit right now. I just have partial.
That's incredible.
But yeah, it's really, really cool how he did everything.
He just nailed it.
Yeah, he did a really good job on it.
That's the thing about Mike. He's an artist, and it really shows. I mean, even though, and he always says this, he's like, my models aren't exact duplicates of the studio models, but they're made to represent the model. So when you're looking at it, you think you're looking at the studio model, even if it isn't totally accurate.
Hey, so Robin, what did you think about the medical frigate?
Oh,
yeah.
I want to do one now.
Yeah,
but I got to clear out an entire wall in order to do it.
Isn't that amazing piece?
Yeah.
Did you get to meet Jim by?
Oh, I did. What a nice guy.
Yeah.
And in fact, to say I helped him load the medical frigate would be a total lie. I just pushed people out of the way so that Ryan and him could actually move it down into the van. And I'm surprised at just how, I loved it because he was like me. He thinks about, okay, how am I going to move this thing from point A to point B?
Yeah.
And so he's just like, oh yeah, you just pop off this panel here, you pop off this panel here, you insert a rod here. Okay, now we're carrying. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I would not. He showed me pictures of that thing sitting in the van, and I got word of it because of Joseph. Thanks to Joseph, but I'm like, Joseph, ask him if he wants to sell that thing, and get pictures. And sure enough, he put me in touch with Jim, and now Jim and I have become friends over the phone, and I'm going to get to meet him in person on the 16th of this month when he's delivering that frigate to the gallery here.
By the way, Michael, Ben's a great photographer.
Oh, very cool.
And they're also not far from you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They're in Texas.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
So I have another something to show you guys. Speaking of studio models, I scored this today, and I'm extremely excited about it because I've been wanting to do one of these for a really long time. So let me pull this up.
Oh yeah.
So this is a Richard Long Sovereign Replicas Naboo Royal Starship.
Is that fiberglass?
It is.
Wow.
And I had been working with someone in Germany, Daniel Beck, who's an amazing model builder artist. And we had been planning on modeling this and the other one, which is the one from the beginning of Attack of the Clones. It's the longer one, the one with the wings that come out, and it has the dual jet engines on both wings. It's the one that the one that explodes in the terrorist bombing on the platform on.
Yeah, the B2 versus the SR-71.
Exactly. So we were going to
63-5 gigawatt to the right.
So we were going to do both of those, and then he sent me an email or a message this morning from Germany, and he said, "Hey, we may have an out on trying to 3D model this thing. This model exists. They're very rare, but there was a guy in New York who had it for sale. And this one, the body alone is without the engine needles on the back is 33 inches long.
Yeah.
So the plan is to either have it plated or to paint it in Molotow, which is a very soft chrome, but if you let it cure for about 3 months, then it's okay. But I'm not sure yet. We've been doing some stuff. The Alumoluster is nice, but it tends to be darker. So I'm just not sure what to use on it. I mean, you could also paint it with Alclads,
Yeah.
And there are lots of options, but it's really beautiful. But I mean, to get the chrome, that highly polished chrome finish, I don't know if there's any way to do it with paint unless we plate it.
In my opinion, as rare as that piece is, if it builds well, if you get it together and it looks great with some primer on it, then I'd say you probably just have it chromed.
Yeah. It would be worth it.
Because it's one thing if you're doing like a Mandalorian helmet or a Naboo fighter or something like that, and you're airbrushing very low pressure, whether you're using Alclad, Alumoluster, Spastics, it doesn't matter. Any of those chromes with the slightest little spit, from your airbrush,
you'll see it.
You'll ruin it.
And it puts spatter on it, and in a lot of cases that's fine. It works for the look, but on something like that, I don't think the thing was absolutely flawless in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Joseph, do you know? So through Golden Armor, Chris, I picked up the ET ship, Robin, and Salzo's working on that, and he's redoing it because he already had the Alumoluster. He was nice enough to do that, but it needed to be a little bit more detailed, so it's got sanded down. Do you know, Joseph, what he's using for the ET ship? Because I know
I know he's experimenting, but I think he's using the Alclad.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the problem is painting metallics is so difficult. I mean, your your base coat has to be perfect. You've got to prime and sand and and sand and wet sand, and then do a gloss black, and that has to be flawless, right? Because any little flaw is going to show up on your metal, on your finish.
Oh, is that why Mike did what he did today?
Yes. Yeah. Any little surface imperfection will light up like a light bulb once you apply the metallic paint to it.
Yep.
So they have to be perfect. Yeah.
So he's close then to painting it because the black's already been applied.
No, I think the last picture that I saw, he was still sanding. He was sanding out the imperfections.
Okay. Because I sent it to you a few minutes ago. I wasn't sure.
Oh, is that what you sent me?
Yeah, I sent you that. He set up the lighting in there. Have you seen that ship yet, Robin?
I haven't.
It's pretty cool.
I haven't.
I'm not sure.
No, don't worry about it, Joseph.
How to
It's
play
good.
it. Okay.
It was funny because the little ETs are a little over a quarter-inch tall. He
Yeah.
said, Mike, I was just kidding, of course, but I'm like, Mike, is there any way that you could light the chests of those little ETs? And he's like, I guess I could put one fiber optic in it. You know what I mean? That's what he said. I could just do a fiber in there. I go, Mike, I'm just kidding, dude. You don't have to really do that.
So
I said,
here,
but it would be cool sitting in the little doorway aisle and have like a fiber optic come in red. He's like, shit. I love to challenge these guys, just like Jim with the medical frigate. I'm like, you think you could do the Falcon hang under there? And so he's doing the Falcon. He's painting it.
Oh,
today.
is he?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you'll get to see it soon here. So
Yeah.
I hope you come to the gallery soon.
Yeah, I need to get out there.
Yeah, that'll be cool, man.
So Robin, when I don't know if I told you this story when we were at Celebration, John Evelyn came to Celebration. He gave a talk with the rest of the ILM guys. But he does some work for the show, the Orville. I don't know if you've seen that show.
Mm-mm.
That's Seth MacFarlane's science fiction show, and it's kind of the
the Orville.
Yeah, the Orville.
Oh, I thought you said the Horrible, and I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I haven't heard of that one.
No, the Orville. Yeah, so they tasked John. I guess Seth MacFarlane wanted the studio model, the first version of it, to be put in his office. So they tasked John with making a display case for it and installing it there. So when he came to Celebration, he went up to LA to do that installation for for Seth. And he knows how much I love the show and how much I love the ship. So he took me with him.
Oh, how cool.
To help him set it up. He needed another set of hands anyway. So let me see here.
Yeah, like 1:30 in the morning before y'all are supposed to be there at like 7 the next morning.
Yeah.
Trying to buy a drill and shit. I remember that.
Yeah. We need here. Hold on. Let me see here. Shall we share this? Okay. Share. So I got the opportunity to actually clean the studio model.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then we set it up on the custom base that John made. Now, all of this is part of the studio model. So this is where all the wires go in, and this box runs all of the lighting and electronics.
Jeez, man.
Wow.
I haven't even seen these, Joseph.
Oh, I haven't shown these to you?
No, it's fantastic.
And this is the full display. So John made this entire thing, and we installed it in there, and you can see the studio model all lit up.
So that's in his office?
No, so right there, that's Seth MacFarlane's office, the one with all the security and keypads and everything.
Yeah, I got you.
That's right outside his door. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is I was planning to show you guys these two. This is
but
this
real
is
quick,
yeah.
Go back. Do you mind to Seth's that display? I want to see that. I love the downlighting underneath on the bottom. That's what I was telling you, Joseph, what you could do on your display.
Oh yeah.
And
it's and John did this, and then he put in these little spotlights to light up the ship. He did the mirrored acrylic. The only thing that it was kind of, we had to improvise, and now John's making a final version of this, was we had to put these supports, because these loops on the back of the ship, they're starting to sag.
Oh.
And the model is separating at certain spots because of that, because of the weight.
Those look nice.
Yeah, so he did these, but they weren't the right heights. So we ended up having to scramble. We took an Uber to an Office Depot, and we got these. These are little rolls of foil tape, and so we just got them and stacked them up under these pipes to adjust the heights.
They look
but
nice.
It ended up looking really
That's so studio scale. You just don't even know.
Exactly. That's exactly right, Robin.
Yeah, but it is a beautiful, beautiful ship.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have. This is without the lights on, so you can kind of see. The details on this thing are just amazing.
Is there only one of these?
Yep. Well, now, okay, so for season 3, they actually built a new studio model, and it's much more detailed. And that's what's being used in filming season 3. And there's an obvious difference between this ship and the one for season 3. But I love this one. I mean, it's just a very clean model, and it's really beautiful.
So is the Orville? I respectfully, it's kind of like Gabe not seeing Flash Gordon, but is it a comedy or what? Because I haven't.
So okay, so it's a really interesting show. So Seth MacFarlane is a huge Star Trek fan, and I guess he tried to pitch a Star Trek show to Paramount or CBS or to whoever, and they shot it down. And then they ended up going with Bad Robot, the Alex Kurtzman, J.J. Abrams group, to produce all the new Star Trek stuff that they're doing for CBS, for the streaming services, or Paramount Plus now. And I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm a lifelong Star Trek fan, and I really don't like what they've done with
what Scott said.
What did he say?
He says it's kind of like an old school. Wait, what did he say? Star Trek Spaceballs.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, well, here's the thing. So this is what happened. So I think what he did is he went to Fox initially, and he said, I'm going to do a spoof, right? It's going to be like Galaxy Quest for Star Trek, or a Galaxy Quest type show, but kind of a spoof on Star Trek. And I think he pitched it to them that way. Now, this is all speculation, but this is what it seems like to me. He pitched it to them. They went with it. He made the show. The first couple of episodes are very much like that. And they have that Family Guy humor to them.
Yeah.
But it then immediately and quickly transitioned to this very serious, science fiction show where they're talking about social issues through allegory, like they did in the original Star Trek series. And I think what it is that's what he wanted to make. He wanted to make a serious Star Trek, and they wouldn't let him. So he pitched them something and then did what he wanted anyway, which is, I think, kind of ironic, because that's exactly what Gene Roddenberry did. He wanted to make Star Trek, which was very serious and very insightful. And the studio wanted a bare knuckle fist fight. So he went to them and he said, this is a wagon train to the stars, right? Because Westerns were really popular back in the 60s.
Yeah.
So he basically told them this is wagon train to the stars. And the first pilot, or the second pilot that he made, had a fist fight at the end. And so he sold them on it. And then he snuck in all of the serious allegorical, social commentary.
Is there a lot of like sexy women in there, kind of like Star Trek had the original Star Trek?
No. There's no scantily clad.
I love that
mini skirts. But I love the show. To me, it's the successor to Star Trek.
What about you, Robin?
I've watched the new Star Treks. It's kind of funny. Like, I don't hate them, but I'll fall asleep. I'll watch them when I'm in bed, and I'll fall asleep. I will say, like, I liked Picard because it was a nostalgic road trip. For me, like, Star Trek just filled a gap for me in that I would call it like the great void of 1983 to 1999, where there was like all you had was Star Trek shows and reruns of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
And so when I felt like, kind of in my Star Warsy mood, I would watch one of those. And so when they brought Picard on, I thought, you know what? They really grew him and the other characters so well. They really did a good job all the way through the movies. And so I watched all those movies and I enjoyed it. But Picard was a fun ride. And then Strange New Worlds, I actually like.
Yeah, that's the only one that of the new Star Trek that I've really, really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I haven't seen that one. So there's an ongoing
season 1 of Discovery.
I'm
Robin,
sorry.
Go
Season 1 of Discovery was pretty fun.
Okay.
I had to suspend belief on some stuff, but I've always thought Jason Isaacs was really cool. You know, the captain.
Mm-hmm.
He was great in The Patriot. You know, he played like the best bad guy. And then I was like, oh, he's playing a good guy. He's playing a captain. And I was like, oh, wait, never mind.
You're talking about Picard?
No,
Discovery.
the captain from the first season of Discovery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
You were going to ask something, Michael?
Yeah, I was just going to tell Robin that there's a very friendly, but not really, but feud between Joseph and me when it comes to Star Trek and Star Wars. I mean, we let him in. You know what I mean?
Oh, for
Yeah.
sake.
we allowed him in because he does have a passion for Star Wars, you know. And I thought, you know, we're not going to discriminate against, you know, Trekkies, you know. So,
You know,
Robin, you like Picard. I'm assuming you saw the next gen movies too, right? Like First Contact and.
Oh yeah.
So I just got my hands on this. You might like seeing this. Here, let me pull this up.
Joseph, has he seen your Star Trek ship that you got?
No, but he knows Bill. He knows Bill Krause, so he knows the ship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got the Bill's big boy, that 4 foot long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the lightest of light start. Oh, but I do know what that is. That is cool.
So I just got this from Factory Entertainment, and they did. This is Michael. Do you recognize it?
I don't.
Okay, this is from Star Trek First Contact. That's the Borg Queen skull.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and they just did a fantastic job on this.
Kind of Terminator, looks like cylinder in there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I know.
And then
when I first
on the bottom, there's a display plaque signed by Alice Krige, who's the actress who played the Borg Queen in that film.
Very cool. What were you going to say, Robin?
Well, when I first look at it like that, my first gut response is, I need your clothes, your boots, and your
motorcycle. I need your clothes. Exactly.
Here's one that Michael will recognize, though.
Yeah. Yep. I know everybody. I'll never forget when I watched that movie for the first time, and I know, I mean, it was inspired by so many movies like Lucas, but it just was. It's cool though.
Here you go, Michael.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm mainly at my heart, I just like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And other stuff, I'm like, oh, okay, that's okay. But it's usually like I'll fall asleep to it.
What about Blade Runner? It's a comfort movie for me, like the original Blade Runner. It's so dark, sitting in a room watching that.
I have, it could not hold my attention when I was younger.
I know.
And so now I'm like, I guess I have to go back and revisit this because there's a lot of people whose opinions I respect that are like, yeah, I got resold on Blade Runner. I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to give this a whirl.
Well, the thing is that, I mean, at the time it was made, it was really groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting film. But if you watch it for the first time now, something that was made in 1982, it's a slow watch. There's a lot of darkness to it. The pacing is, I mean, it's pretty slow. And here's the thing, I saw all these movies when I was young and I loved them. And they were a big part of, my experience. But after I got married, my wife had never seen any of these. So I sit down to watch them with her, and she's seeing them for the first time.
She's like,
and she doesn't like them at all. But when I'm watching them, I think to myself, this isn't as amazing as I remember. And I think we're all kind of clouded by that nostalgia from when we first saw these things, and they were mind-blowing. We had the same experience with The Godfather. I mean, The Godfather.
I was going to say The Godfather, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I put on The Godfather for my wife, and I told her this is like one of the greatest films ever made. And then we watch it, and she's like, "This is the greatest film ever made. Are you kidding?" And I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh, this doesn't really hold up." And I mean, it's still a great film, but you got to look at it through the lenses of 1972 or whatever.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's all
Robin,
relative to time.
That's right. How old are you, Robin, if you mind me asking?
I'm about to be 48.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? You got the voice. There's a couple you got when you talk. There's a couple people that I'm like, God, he sounds like this guy, or the guy that we just lost from Casino.
Ray Liotta?
Ray Liotta. Yeah, you kind of have that.
You mean Goodfellas? Or wait, was he in Casino too, or no?
Yeah, and Casino.
Oh, he was in Casino. Okay.
Yeah.
I used to always get Christian Slater.
I don't know if you. Yes, that's where it is.
Yep.
That's it. The Christian. That was the first thing I thought of when I first saw you tonight. It's Christian Slater. That's exactly right.
He was,
and I thought that had faded, to be honest with you. But and it's like, because people used to say, you kind of look like Christian Slater. I'd be like, why does everybody always tell me that?
That's hilarious.
But it was funny. Quick story. I was out in Vegas. We went out there to see Journey. Me and one of my good friends.
Badass. It's my wife's favorite band.
Oh, it was amazing. They had an orchestra playing in the background. It was incredible.
That's so cool.
So I go down to like grab this sandwich. We were staying at the Palms. So they have like almost like a food court, in the hotel. And there was this place there called Earl's Sandwich. And we just kept hitting it for like all the small meals because it was like just pretty good sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm going there to order, and there's a woman, clearly, probably Chinese, mask on her face. So I couldn't really see her face, but she kept like trying to get close to me with her camera. She's like, click, click. and I was like, and I thought maybe she's trying to take a picture of the sandwich, whatever. And so I move out of the way, and she just kind of follows me on click, click, click. And I went back and told my buddy, I'm like, I don't know if this lady's trying to scan my face for, facial recognition or something like that. He goes, no, you kidding me? No, she was like, she's sending pictures to her friends all back home. Oh, look, I found Christian Slater. This is what happens when you do drugs. This is how bad you look.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, that is funny. That's great.
Funny. When did you go see them?
About 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, recent. Yeah, my wife's pretty upset with me. We just celebrated her 50th birthday a couple weeks ago. And for the last year, there's a cover band here local that sounds better than, I think, my humble opinion, than the new Steve Perry singer with that group now.
Wow.
And we've been wanting to get them to come out, and do a thing here, but it just, things didn't pan out that way. So she's a little bummed about it, but yeah, that's a really cool band. That must have been a really neat thing to have especially with an orchestra.
It was so nostalgic. I guess the original drummer came back, and he can still sing like Steve Perry. So he did like 2 or 3 songs, and then they had another guy who jumped in. I mean, singing like that will just like crush your voice.
Yeah, I bet it does. Right. That was a natural thing for Perry, or maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it did his voice in too.
Oh, wow.
So
I mean, yeah, fantastic. When it comes to that guy Steve Perry's voice, man.
Oh,
but yeah, recently when he's saying, you're right, you can tell he can't hit those notes like he did back in the day. It's crazy.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
speaking of old movies, here I have another something you guys might like. Here we go.
Wow. This is
the one that freaks your wife out, right?
This is the one that freaks my wife out. Every time she comes downstairs, she pees her pants a little bit. This just looks incredible.
That's real hair?
That is real hair. That is real stubble.
Yeah, look at that. God, the lips. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That would freak me out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm with your wife on this one. Just when it's that realistic, I'm like,
God, look at the hands, man. Oh, and his nails and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The little hair.
There's been a huge leap in the technology and materials and everything that are being used in statues now. You know,
The
in
knuckles
collectible
look
statues. Actually, Michael, this is the one I sent you today.
Yeah, yeah.
Robin, this is 1/3 scale representation of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
that's pretty cool.
And look at that.
I mean, they just get right down to the pores in the skin.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then this is the body. And then this
That is
was
a body.
that is a body.
I was gonna say just a little too much of clothes. This needs to be.
Just
I'm just
and then
saying, JS.
this is the same company that made the Heath Ledger Joker.
What scale is that one, Joseph?
1/3 scale. All their pieces are 1/3
That's
scale.
badass.
I mean, just look at that.
Man.
Wow.
That's the thing. It's 1/3 scale. This is a Iron Man statue that I got recently. That's half scale.
I was gonna say that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's half scale.
I did a full size one that sits in my office next door.
Oh, really?
Which
And
one is
yeah,
it?
you made that?
What's that?
You made it?
Actually, there's a guy who does foam suits out of the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
So he sent me the foam, and then I coated it and sanded it and weathered it, polished it, painted it. And then the helmet I got from somebody on the RPF.
These are quarter scale representations, the Apollo
Those are
Apollo
awesome.
11.
Those sold out quick. When I
Yep.
remember when-
These are beautifully done. And then this is the arm of the International Space Station. There's one of the ISS astronauts on there. This is a probe droid pod that was painted by Ben Yetter. He did a beautiful job on this. This is double studio scale. I think it was made by Lassie Henning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. And then there it is with the new MYC probe droid.
What's next to all those? What are those other ones? Which one is that to the right?
To the right.
Oh, what I mean, what
No,
is
it's
that?
a mirror. There's a mirror. There's a
Okay.
mirror.
Oh, it's a mirror.
Yeah.
Because the color looks different.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
No,
does.
it's just in the mirror. Let me see here. I think that's pretty much it for the new stuff. I wanted to show this. Now,
Wow.
she just passed away
Yeah.
at 89 years old. And this is a picture of us when I was 10 years old.
Man, Joseph, that's a fantastic picture, dude.
Yeah, so there's a story behind it. It's really interesting. So I was 10, I went to my first Star Trek convention. And that was back in the day when the conventions were really small. I mean, it was one room in a hotel. And it was just, a couple of vendors and things like that. And she was going to be making an appearance. So this is 1987, right? Star Trek: The Next Generation had just premiered like a couple of weeks prior. And anyway, she was making an appearance. It was noon. She was going to be there at 4:00. And when my dad heard that, he looked at me. He said, "We are not staying here for 4 more hours so you can see her." And I was really upset, and I sounded like Luke Skywalker wanting to go to Tashi Station. So a reporter overheard us, and he came up to me and he was like, "Do you want to meet her?" I said, "Yeah, but we're not going to be able to stay." He said, "Let me talk to your dad." So he came and he talked to my dad. He said, "Look, I have an interview scheduled with her in her hotel room. And I would love to have a fan, a young fan who wasn't born at the time of the original series, to be there to meet her and to do like some photo ops. So we agreed, and he took us to her room, and I met her, and she spent an hour with me, talking and looking at the books that I had, and she was the sweetest woman. I just, it's, you know how they say never meet your heroes. Well, she's, I mean, I every time I think about that experience, I tear up.
Wow, that's
And
awesome. That's awesome.
and the reporter took a bunch of photos of us, and a week later it ended up on the front page of the newspaper, the local newspaper. And he sent me all the negatives from the photo shoot, but I always kept them, but I never had them developed. So in 2014, my wife and I went down to Vegas for the Star Trek convention. They're the big one, the Star Trek Las Vegas. And she was going to be there. So I had them developed, and I took them down there, and I met her, 30 years later.
That is a great
30
story.
years later. And I showed her the pictures, and she's like, "Oh my God, aren't we gorgeous?" And she was the sweetest lady. And it was what an experience. Yeah. So she autographed all the photos that I gave her, and we talked again. And yeah, but I was 10.
I thought she was very attractive back in the day.
Oh, yeah, she was definitely. I don't know, Michael, if you know the story about, and Robin, I'm sure you know it, but maybe some of the audience doesn't know it, that after the first couple of seasons, she was going to leave.
No.
And she was going to leave because she wanted to pursue other things. She didn't feel like she had a big enough role. And I guess she was at a party, and they told her, "There's somebody here that wants to meet you." Yep. And it was Martin Luther King.
Yep.
Oh.
And he came up to her and he said, "Star Trek is the only show that I let my children watch, and we watch it as a family, because it shows a future where everybody, regardless of race and ethnicity, works together and everyone's equal."
Yeah.
And she said, "I'm thinking about leaving." He said, "You can't leave. You don't know what you mean to our community being on that show." So she stayed.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then they canceled the damn show. So
yeah, they canceled it a season later. Yeah. But still, and then she went on to become an ambassador for NASA, recruiting female astronauts.
Oh, wow. Never knew that.
Yeah. So she did a lot. She used Star Trek as a platform for good.
Yeah, she was also an amazing singer too.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, she sings in a couple of the episodes. Huh?
I was just going to say, what a great tribute that you were able to bring this up on this show on the week that she's passed on.
Yeah.
And man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, great story. The kid, and look, I love that. Even when Lee, that picture of, I always say it's one of my thing of Lee getting picked up. That was so, just to have that picture, when you're a kid, those are the type of things I just love.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, it was such an amazing experience. It's, I'll definitely treasure this.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Cool. Yeah, of course.
Robin, I know it's getting a little late, and this was short notice to have you on, but I just want to ask you a couple quick questions. Mm-hmm. So, in regards to your theater room in there, your collection room, you had mentioned like down the hallway is going to be like a Bespin inspired type of room. Is that the deal?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a Empire. The wall is Bespin inspired, but it's really it's going to be the Empire Strikes Back wall, and it has been. But then I started moving stuff around out of here to do work.
Oh wow!
So.
Wow,
looks fantastic.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, Robin, we have to talk about that Macquarie Boba Fett that you have there.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
Hey, so look at that. What a great job on the MDF work. Look, I'm looking at the background. Yeah. That's cool and all, but the details of the background, we need to go to a wide shot again, Robin.
Sure.
Is that a studio scale Probe Droid?
Sure is.
Yeah, fantastic. I just got that. Mike just built mine. Yeah, look at that. Okay, Joseph, I apologize. Man, what a great job. I love the orange with the
beautiful.
white. That's just sweet.
That's
Speaking of the Black Series.
Oh,
Look
did
at
you
that.
repaint
Just did the
that?
Black Series and did the
yeah.
Jag Eyes, helmet because, I mean, why not?
Yeah, very nice. Robin, did you 3D print that Macquarie Boba Fett helmet?
I did.
Okay.
I did. That's actually PLA too. So that was
Wow.
that was some fun amount of sanding to get that blush up.
I bet. God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
let's whoa, go back.
beautiful.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. So is this one wired up? Do you have it lit and where it's got the sounds in there?
I think I've got no, I don't have sounds or anything.
Okay. It's beautiful though.
I gotta remember where I put the switch on this thing. That's
Where
great.
the antenna.
But I can go frame.
There you go. That's all we need. Golly, man, what a great job. The ion cannon. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Dude, I love that.
Well, you can say you love it, but really, I just tried to get the damn thing together and the legs collapsed on me. And I thought, okay, well, we got to go with a different approach. In the meantime,
Oh my God.
somebody's going to take a nap.
Okay. You didn't show much of it. So what's that?
That is one of the ESB background ships.
Oh my gosh.
The last shot by the medical frigate.
Oh my.
And it's just my riff on it, right? Because there's no real reference for it.
And you made that?
Yeah.
Dude.
That is beautiful.
That would look really cool next to the frigate display.
It would.
Well, you know where I live. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Jeez. What do you know? What I guess there isn't really a scale because it's a background ship.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's just a background ship. So just cobbled together parts.
That's
and I will show you something. That this is a print of the Merlin Models blockade runner, but I went with the Rogue One paint scheme.
Very nice.
Because I dug it because it was so ultra 70s. It was that bright blue and the yellow and the bright red. And I just thought, man, this could be like a beach towel from like 1974 or something.
Okay, what's up with you being so casual about that background you have right there?
I know that panel.
That is a lot of freaking work,
amazing.
Bro.
Yeah.
Dude, what a great job, dude.
Oh, beautiful.
That's kind of the rebel wall. But
what a great
took
job.
a lot of stuff down off of it.
Oh,
I love the colors, dude. The colors are fantastic.
I tell you what, I love orange.
You know what? I do too.
Now, what helmet is that, Robin? The one just to the right of the Enclave there.
Oh.
Under the two pictures.
It's a ARC 170.
Oh, jeez. That's cool.
You made that one?
Yeah, and that's kind of just my riff on, whatever. I got it from a guy on eBay, and then I just decided to add my own details, including the classic Fett logo.
Yeah, that's cool. It could be like the story behind the story. I love those. That one's cool. Look at that.
That's an A-wing?
Yeah, that's an A-wing helmet.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Is that also from Golden Armor?
That is.
Yeah. Yeah, he makes the casts for that.
I
was considering getting one of those and completing the collection.
Mine was I got the file and I did a 3D print.
Ah, okay.
And then
Rob, that's so cool. Robin, who's the AT-AT, that one that's collapsed? You don't sound real excited about it. Who made it?
So this was, I bought it at Wonderfest in 2019.
Okay.
Studio scale. I believe it was an AT-AT Ron from like back in the day.
I love
resin kit.
Dude, you need to build a base, put some snow under it, dude. That'd be some black snow,
Well, I want to get her walking again, but what it needs is an internal armature and then a side
Right.
mount.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's my goal. But it does look kind of nice crash next to the
Oh,
armor.
I love it that way. That's
Yeah.
badass. I'm not sure what that red thing is.
Oh,
That's
this?
Yeah.
The indoor bunker.
That's right. That's the shield generator, right?
Well, yeah, some of the
Or part of it.
capacitors for the shield generator.
Oh, very cool.
That's cool.
There's a scene where I think Ben Burt jumps out and freeze. And what's its face? He's dressed as an Imperial, and Harrison Ford knocks him over. And that's in the background. And they had I guess they had some sort of electricity going, in between them. So it looked like, a power generator or power capacitor.
Oh yeah, let's look at that right there. That's badass looking. Jeez.
Is that Walker from Mandalorian?
It is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I was
that's
like
so freaking cool. Dude.
rushing to be like one of the first guys to do it in studio scale, and I did it with the Golden Armor files.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then just started playing around and adding crap to it, just like in the Mandalorian. But there's hardly any reference. So again, you get a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
That's so cool looking.
The being able to see a lot of, now they didn't have that one, but all the other studio models from Mandalorian at the exhibit at Celebration was probably the highlight of that whole trip. Seeing all of the stuff. Michael, you saw it, right?
What's that?
Did you see the Mandalorian exhibit?
I didn't, man. I tried to go get in there and they wouldn't let me in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get in, man. I tried right before we left and I just couldn't get in.
Yeah, it was that was the best part of the whole exhibit, I think.
Man.
And of the whole, I mean, other than seeing you guys, of course, and
right.
seeing all of our collection wars.
Right. Yeah,
yeah. But in terms of what was at Celebration, I thought that was just mind blowing. Yeah.
Robin, I just, with the biggest of respect to your unbelievably beautiful builds like the Concept Slave one and the shuttle, I am most impressed with all of that hard work that went into that room and that hallway, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Well, look, let's be real. In the last several years, since I first did my gallery, I was inspired by that guy, Jeff, with Jeff's museum. And his was more of just a traditional, like a museum style. So I wanted to change it up and do, as Joseph knows, because he watched it through the Model of Magic, but I wanted to have it like we're on a ship. And it's not easy when you set up like how you have that set up with, and you create all these different patterns of this walls and the ceilings, and then to display product in there, where it looks classy. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's a mother.
Yeah.
To do all that.
I always tell people, I just want it to not look like bottles hanging from fishing line in mom's basement.
Exactly. It's so crazy though, Robin. Think about this is what I was getting at, is the last several years, not just because of collection wars, obviously, but just with the social media and what you see, like a lot of our viewers that watch our show faithfully every Saturday night, they're creating these really cool little man caves, and these people that are watching tonight can see your room and get ideas just in that hallway. That might be all the room that they have, but just that little room, they can create something, really, really cool and make it their own,
And I love hearing that, like, somebody gets an idea sparked.
Yeah.
From something. And I'm like, so they'll reach out to me or something through the Renegade Facebook page or something. They'll have a question of it. Well, yeah, I'll answer. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, when I saw Michael doing his room, we were building our house at the time, and he inspired me to do my display space, but I couldn't do what he was doing. I mean, I really loved it, but the thing is that his was all Star Wars and my room was not all Star Wars, so I couldn't do it as a Star Wars theme per se.
Yeah.
But just seeing what he did was so inspiring. I mean, that's part of the reason that you and Gabe started the channel.
Yeah.
It was to share all of these collections to inspire other people to be able to to do what they want to do. And you know what, that reminds me, I want to show you guys something.
Yeah, not to intimidate at the same time, because these are some there's a lot of time and money that goes into some of these things, but if you can do it yourself,
so it's the whole do it yourself thing that is that's where I get I guess the good feeling from.
Yeah. So let me show you guys this. So talk about inspiration. Robin, you're gonna really like this too. Okay. So most of our viewers know George Medina from MCE Central and the Hyperdrive channel.
Yeah, super cool dude.
Great guy, good friend of ours. And he is, he's not a model builder, but he decided he wanted to build the DeAgostini Falcon.
He didn't know he was a model builder.
And
he didn't know he was a model builder. Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
So he built it up and he painted it. This is the first time he's ever used an airbrush. And talk about inspiring.
Yeah, for sure.
To see someone who's really never, and I'll never forget it. He called me up. He called me up when he was painting this, and he said, "I'm having a really hard time. I'm trying to paint out of the airbrush, and I'm pressing the button, and sometimes the paint comes out, sometimes it doesn't come out. Sometimes it splatters, and I feel like I don't know what I'm doing wrong." And
I was doing just fine, buddy.
I was like, no. This was before he painted it. And I said, George, sounds like you don't have the pressure on your compressor turned up. And he said, "You mean you can adjust the pressure?" I mean, this is how much of a novice George was when it came to this.
That's so cool.
And yet, look at this.
Yeah, he did great.
And it's just beautiful.
Yeah,
so talk about inspiring for all the people watching who feel like they can't build a model or they can't do this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
All it takes is a little bit of passion.
That's right.
And a little bit of perseverance, and and just beautiful work.
My first run with an airbrush looked nowhere near that good.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I have to hand it to George.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
For having pulled that off. Yeah. And then I believe that's the lit model, and there's the cockpit.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
So
I thought you would appreciate that, Robin, just because that's quite an achievement for not having ever built a model before and then jumping into something like that.
That's it.
We have another friend, Chris Benware, who built a DeAgostini Falcon, and then the next model he built was Salzo's Slave 1 kit.
Yeah.
The Nissan Salzo kit.
He did a fantastic job on it.
And it's beautiful. And I was like, wow, that's your second model? Really?
Yeah.
And by the way, to answer your previous question, that's probably what I'm diving into next.
What's that?
The Salzo Slave 1.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
do you have one already? And do you have one?
Yeah. And I've started laying everything out, and I've talked to Mike extensively. I got a good starting point.
Very cool.
Well, I told Chris when he finished that Slave 1, and I think this applies to anyone who builds that thing. It's like, remember when we landed on the moon? The saying was after that, if we could go to the moon, we can do, fill in the blank. So if you can build that Slave 1, you can do anything.
That's right.
You can do any model. You can build any model.
That's for damn sure. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
has a really big talent for studio, and he's trying to keep it going as well. You know, he's doing a good job. Chris does a real good job with that stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours.
Yeah, man.
So
Well past my bedtime.
it's well past your bedtime. There's one more thing that you guys will get a laugh out of before we leave. I came out of the hospital the other day, and I found this parked outside the hospital entrance, and I took a picture of it.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's
so
fun.
Anyway.
Well, I'd like to say a big thank you to Robin for short notice jumping on, and I've made a new friend, and thanks for introducing me, Joseph, because this guy's super cool.
Of course. Well, Robin,
thanks
like I said,
for having me, guys, and I'm so glad we finally. Always a pleasure to see you again, Joseph, and glad we finally got to somewhat meet. You know, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Steve Neeson popped on. Hey, Steve.
Oh, Steve
got here right in time to say goodnight. So,
well, yeah, like I said, the best part of Wonderfest was being able to meet you and meet all the other guys, and I feel like I've made friends for the rest of my life. You know,
that would be too. It's that's always the biggest. That's always the biggest treat with it. And then hopefully, you know, maybe next year we'll be out of the hotel room and, you know, venturing out some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'll be really
cool. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. This was another wonderful Saturday night with the Collection Wars family. And I'm going to attempt to play us out here.
Before you, Joseph, you're a fantastic co-host, brother.
Thank you, my friend. It's really, this was a lot of fun. I have to say I was nervous because I had no idea what I was doing.
You did fantastic. And Robin, if you don't mind, stay online for just a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for your Saturday, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Have a good night.
Good night, bud.